This video is designed to help you get to know a bit about Podio as a system. Um, when you first log into Podio, you'll get to your own homepage, and this is my homepage. And of course, you can structure this to see you anything that you want. So everybody's homepage will be different, and one of the things that we encourage you to do is to start adding different parts of the system so that you can see things right away. So for instance, right here you can see I've got my calendar at the top. I've decided I want to see my email and my open tasks right underneath it, and that takes me to other parts of the system. Now, to just go through the basic setup of Podio, I'm going to start from right to left, up at the top. The first thing you see is the chat. Now, the chat's a fantastic way of interacting with your team members, or in my case, interacting with the much wider Podio community and my clients. And I am able to have quick chats with pretty much anyone in the system, and it's a great way of just passing little bits of information. Anything we do normally suggest that anything that is mission critical that needs to be tracked, you do actually within the system in a more formal way. But it's a great way of basically using it as an instant message system. Next to that, you've got notifications. This drop down here, and notifications are a critically important part of Podio. Basically put, anytime something gets updated, someone gets you a task, or someone does something on one of the parts of the system that you're working on or are following, it creates a notification to let you know it's happened. And these notifications are critically important because they allow you to see what's happening to any of the things that you're connected to. One of the things I always recommend to people is that they keep notifications cleared throughout the day. There's nothing I hate more than seeing a lot of notifications on someone's system, because to me, if you've got 1,000 notifications, then one more, which could be critical, is going to go unnoticed. So throughout the day, I mean, you notice I don't have any right now. Throughout the day, what I tend to do is, as they hit crop up, I'll take a look at them, and if there's anything I need to look at or act on, I can go right there. Next to that is your account, and if you click this drop down, you'll see my profile is simply a way of adding a picture, adding a bio, phone numbers, emails, etc. Um, and unless you're an administrator, you probably won't need to use any of these others, except for account settings. And account settings are pretty important because there's one or two settings that we find most people like to interact with right away. So if I just click on account settings, first of all, you'll see you can change the basics, so your time zone, the language you're working in, and you can add verified emails and change your password. Services is where you can connect any of these services, either Citrix services like ShareFile or Octablue, or any of the other services that they offer here. And interact and link them to your Podio system. And most importantly, from a lot of our clients, is email notifications. You'll notice when you first sign up to Podio, you'll get a lot of email notifications. Podio will send you an email when anything happens, and that can be controlled right here. You can choose, you may choose to decide, you know what, send me an email when something happens. Um, I tend to find that I'm logged into Podio anyway, so I just turn them all off. But I do enable my on-screen notifications, which are these ones up here. These other ones you probably won't really have to deal with unless you are actually an administrator of the system. Um, Next to that is the search button. Now this is a universal search, so I can just start typing and it'll search my entire, everything, every organization, every app, etc. And it's a great way of quickly finding things. Next to that is the help and support, and this is actually a very good setup which can augment these videos, where you can ask questions, you can find wikis, and you can look at the Podio own videos. Going over to the further to the left, right here you see the tasks. Now tasks are an incredibly important part of the system, and again I recommend, although I'm going to fail in this one, I recommend that you try to keep up as much as possible your tasks so they're not overdue. Because if, again, in the same principle as notifications, if you've got thousands of tasks that are overdue, then none of them are due. Next to that is your calendar, The calendar is just your calendar. Now, if you have an app where you track activities, you can also see anybody else in your organization who tracks activities, and that's a great way of sharing calendars. But in this case, this is just my own calendar, my own personal calendar. Next to that is connections, and I'll be quite honest, you probably don't need to use this, so you can probably just kind of ignore that. Your Podio button here takes you directly home, or in my case, if you click on it, it takes you to the super menu, which is available at bettersupermenu.com, and that gets you this nice kind of quick guide if you want it. But it'll also take you home to your home screen. And then further to the left is the workspace selector, so the organization selector. So you can very quickly go and find the organization you want and find the workspace to go straight to it. Uh, that is the core setup of Podio. Just a couple other things to mention. You'll see here in the workspace, we start out in the activity screen. And the activity screen is actually a very useful thing because A, you can create reports and charts directly here, so you can summarize what's happening in that workspace and call out important things. That's hugely useful. Two, it acts like your Facebook wall in a sense. This activity screen shows you what's happening across this entire workspace, um, so you can see a sort of a chain of things that have been happening. And you can also control and invite people into the workspaces from here. And that is universal. All Podio workspaces look like this. They all have your ability to customize information over here on the right. It shows you who is a part of this workspace up here on the top, and it gives you the wall and activity here. So that is the basic overview of the core bits of Podio, so that when you log in, you'll understand what you are seeing.